I wanted to come right back and make another video while this is fresh in my mind, because some ideas came to me. When I was reading the description of a narcissist, and was talking a lot about alcohol and drugs. I think these people use alcohol and drugs to settle the disorder in their mind. Like it said in the Psychology Today that I was reading about, as many of them, I don't know if they've had some incident that's actually happened to them, or it's like a developmental problem that just kind of stunts at a certain age. They can't really comprehend their emotions. They have trouble dealing with their emotions. They really don't have the same emotions as most people. Narcissists really, one of the only ways that they can exhibit emotion is through anger and frustration, and like I said, they are stunted at a certain age, and one thing that a child will do when you scold it is march off to the corner and either throw a temper tantrum, or they will just fold their arms and scowl and give you the cold shoulder. And that's what these people, these narcissists, do. They don't know how to communicate with other people. Drugs and alcohol helps them, I don't know, it helps them to cope. But there's other things that they use to cope, and they may not even realize that they're using. And one of that is sex. They become, some of them, now the person I got involved with wasn't really what would be categorized as a sex addict. He wanted to have sex a lot, but I'm not going to get into that right this second, but he wasn't into pornography or anything. Like, I've read a lot of and watched a lot of videos about these people. They use sex as a tool to cope with whatever's going on in their life. Many of them use pornography, and you know, they have multiple sex partners. They're very they don't like, if you, a normal person, has more than one or two sex partners at the same time, you have some guilt about that. You feel some remorse. But they don't. They don't see anything wrong with sleeping with 4 or 5 different people. To them, it's just like, I don't know what it is like to them, because I don't live inside their mind. But manipulation is another thing that they use to cope. When they start feeling any kind of emotion, they will turn it around and turn it back to anger, or turn it back to blame, pointing the finger, transferring the blame onto whoever is, you know, trying to communicate with them, because they don't know how to communicate as an adult. They work, they have jobs, they have to deal with co-workers. They're able to function in society for the most part. Many of them are kind of thought of as arrogant butthole, and people just kind of steer clear of them. But another thing, if you ever see this TV show called Hoarders, these people, they just collect stuff. A lot of it's just trash and garbage, and they don't even collect it. It's just, they just don't never throw anything away. And then there's other people that collect. They collect cars, they collect whatever. And the difference is that some of these people just leave their collections laying around to collect dust and lay anywhere in the house, and other people collect, and they keep their collections very clean and neat and orderly and categorized. Now, this is a narcissist. They collect people. They collect supply. They never, ever, ever throw away a person. A lot of these videos, and one term that is used in this is discard. Well, they don't discard people. They leave you lay. They may categorize you neatly. They may say, this person is, you know, provides me with this person provides me with that. Or they just leave you laying there until they need you again, then they dust you off and try to pick you back up and try to use you again. So they're hoarders. They hoard people. They hoard supply. They they're just very manipulative in any time that you question them about anything. They will never ever admit that they've done anything wrong or that they're guilty of anything. So they have to maneuver back around to blame and pointing the finger at you, and you made me feel this way, you said this or you did that. The person that I had got involved with, anytime that I would try to question him about anything, one thing that he would do is he would just kind of huff up. He never really talked, he never really like got violent or mean with me. He would just kind of say, I done told you once now. I done said it. Now that's it. Don't want to hear about it no more. And that's just kind of their mindset. They don't want to communicate about a subject. That once they've said something, they expect you to accept it and to shut up about it. Even if you caught them red-handed doing something or saying something that you knew was not right, they're still going to deny it, and they're still going to transfer it back to you. You always feel this feeling of what just happened. You always feel like you always are frustrated and confused. You just don't know how. But you know, if this person is a romantic partner, it's harder, it's worse than just a coworker or a family member that you can walk away from and, you know, just not talk to if you don't. But if you're, especially for people that are married to these people or live with them, I've always been angry about the way things ended between me and him. And a lot of that, you know, was my fault because I should have never gotten involved with him in the first place. But I've always been angry about it, but now I'm beginning to understand it, is that I was never anything more to him than just a trophy. And, you know, I'm not saying that I'm anything special, but I was just somebody that he could, like, he wanted to show everybody that we were together, but he also wanted to keep it a secret. He had like two lives. He wanted to show the group of friends that he wanted to become a part of, my friends, he wanted to become a part of their group. He wanted to show them that we were together so that they would accept him. Well, you know, she's with him, so let's give him a chance, you know. Let's give it a try. Maybe he's not as bad as we thought. But he wanted to keep me a secret from his other life, which I can't blame him because he was lying to me the entire first month or so about his relationship status. And I'm not going to get into that now, but yeah, they collect people, they use people for whatever serves them. Some people, you know, they don't want to work, they don't want to have anything of their own, so they find somebody like that documentary, Dirty John. He's a perfect example. He went to school, he went to college and became a nurse, anesthetist, I can't say that word. I have a lisp in case you haven't noticed, and some words that I say are kind of, well, anyway. He had the ability to be a successful nurse and make a good career, but instead he chose to live off of women and use them and manipulate them and lie about his successes. He's the perfect example of a narcissist, and if you haven't watched that, you can watch that. I think it's on Netflix or Hulu. There's many podcasts. On iHeartRadio is one, is Dirty John. That's a really good one. It really gives you insight into what you're dealing with. When you're in the relationship, I always kind of felt like there was something wrong there, but I didn't know about narcissism. I never really thought about it, and I just thought this guy was just, you know, set in his ways or something, and I had to adjust my behaviors to be with him. But the domineering, that's something that I kind of glossed over in the last video, But as I thought more about it, he was very domineering. Sex with this man, it was like, in the beginning when he started doing this, I always just kind of thought he's wanting me and him. I in my stupid mind at the time, in my brain fog that I was under, I thought he's wanting to do this to kind of keep me and him in sync, so we have this really great end, climax together. But as it turned out, it was just his domineering personality and his control, and that he had to be in control. But we would be having sex, and if I began to show or express emotion, if I began to clutch him, moan, make noises as though I was having pleasure, he would stop, and he would look at me, he would put his finger up the way you would do a little kid. Why get back and forth? No, 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 he would say in that tone. Not yet. And then he'd wait, and then he'd start right back. And if I started again, he'd do the same thing. And it got to the point that I just kind of laid there and didn't even try to express any kind of feeling, because I knew the minute that I did, he was going to do that. And trying to reach, I'm trying not to be too graphic here, but trying to reach the climax of sex with him without expressing. And later on, as it went along and this happened, I finally just gave up, and I got to where I didn't even want to have sex with him. And that made him want it even more, and he became more demanding about the things he wanted to do. And I praise God every day, and I praise myself and my own voices that told me not to go along with the things he was suggesting, as it was just not something that I was interested in. And I thank God that I did have that strength and that I did maintain that. But sex with this man was just very bad. He was not a good sex partner at all. He said one time he didn't have to use sex toys to give a woman pleasure. Well, no, he didn't have to use sex toys, but she did afterwards. Because within the first couple of weeks, I was just like, men, there's this term that boys and men, when they're horny, they call it blue balls. Well, that's kind of the way I felt at the end of it. I felt like, I'm just left kind of in the lurch. I was, enjoying it and wanting to climax, and I didn't get to, because he stopped me over and over, because he had to be in control. And as it went on and I considered more and more about it, I realized that he didn't want a sex partner. He wanted a sex receptacle. He wanted a vessel, some warm body that he could get on top of or underneath, or whichever way, and do his business and ejaculate and go about his business, and never, he didn't want you to express yourself, which is very strange, because these people, they want, and then he would, as he was doing this, after he had stopped me a couple of times, and I just finally gave up and just laid there waiting for him to finish, he would say, "Oh, you like that, do you? You like that, do you?" Well, no, I didn't. I didn't like it. He wanted me to say that I did, but if I said that I did, it was like a mind game. He was fucking my mind, same as fucking me. And I'm sorry for that graphic language, but, I'm just going to be real here. I'm just talking my phone. I'm just sitting here talking a mile a minute, but I'm running out of time. But I'm going to touch more on this later. But I just wanted to come back to that subject of dominance and what they use drugs and alcohol to settle the voices and the emotions they start to feel. They use sex. They use hoarding, collecting. I'm going to get more into that in my next video. That's going to be my entire video. It's going to be about how they cope. Thanks for watching.